The roar of the rocket engines fades, leaving behind a silence that costs billions. You look through the viewport, watching the blue planet, your home, shrink into a distant, beautiful abstraction. They tell you this is humanity's greatest exodus, the inevitable next chapter of evolution, a glorious spreading of the life's flame. Your heart swells, captured by this sense of grand destiny. But let me ask you a question. When you picture that future city on the red wasteland, do you see a collective of brave, equal pioneers building a new world, or a meticulously planned, ultimate gated community for the planet's wealthiest and most powerful elite? A planetary-scale secure community with unmatched security? This paradox has been corroding the Martian dream from the very beginning. A technological miracle, collectively funded, yet potentially serving as a getaway ticket for a select few. They claim to be building a backup civilization. But is this just history's largest ever act of leaving the problems behind, executed in the name of all humanity? Evolution has never required a treasury as ballast for its spacecraft. So, is this evolution or a perfect escape? The truth is, the Mars project may not be a fresh page in the human story, but the most lavish expression of our oldest, cruelest instincts.
So, where does this near-instinctual drive originate? It doesn't spring from the future. It's rooted in our most ancient past. Nietzsche would recognize it as the ultimate expression of the will to power, not just to survive, but to shape a world according to one's own blueprint, unhindered by Earth's existing rules, limitations, and the herd. This isn't simple curiosity. It's a profound metaphysical rebellion against Earth's very finitude, against human fragility, against the inevitability of entropy. Mars becomes a blank canvas, but the hand holding the brush is the same old soul, yearning for absolute control. Jung might whisper that this is the projection of our collective shadow. We are not fleeing Earth. We are fleeing the monsters of our own civilization's making: ecological collapse, social inequity, political paralysis. Monsters we refuse to acknowledge and cannot solve. Failing to integrate this darkness on Earth, we choose to leave it behind, engaging in repression on a cosmic scale. But the shadow will follow. It will be carried in the heart of the first astronaut who feels a flicker of resentment over resource allocation in the sealed habitat. It will be amplified with every message from Earth that reads, "Situation worsening." We dream of becoming gods on Mars, yet we bring with us the unatoned sins of Earth. Beneath it all lies a more disquieting philosophical question. If evolution means transcendence, does the end point of transcendence necessarily entail abandonment? We aspire to become post-human. But is this just dressing our oldest, most selfish instinct to flee in the dazzling garments of technology? We are not evolving. We are repeating. This repetition will quietly forge a future social structure beyond our imagination. Picture a civilization built from its inception on extreme resource scarcity and absolute technological dependence. Its priority for survival will override all earthly fantasies of freedom, equality, or individualism. Here, your value will be strictly defined by your functionality. Are you the engineer who can maintain the life support, or the biologist who can optimize food yield? If not, what is your identity? This breeds a new, rigid caste system, an ultimate meritocracy ruled by technocrats. Your genes, your skills, even your psychological stability will be digitized, becoming the sole currency of your social status. This won't be out of malice, but out of the cold logic of survival. The system's optimal solution will forever trump individual well-being. Are the chosen ones truly becoming an elite, or merely the most expensive yet replaceable cogs in a vast, precise machine? And what of those left on Earth? They become the old humanity in this new narrative, a burden left behind, a failed experiment. The gap between Earth and Mars will no longer be physical distance, but an absolute difference in evolutionary stage. A cosmic-scale class stratification becomes legitimized, even romanticized. Did we solve Earth's carrying capacity problem? No. We merely succeeded in externalizing inequality to an interstellar scale. We have built ourselves an eternal other, an entity we may someday have to fear, or even need to manage. The Great Escape ultimately sows the seeds of division for humanity itself.
So, where is the way out? True rebellion is not about boarding the most advanced spacecraft. It is about daring to question the very premise of the escape plan. It demands a profound cognitive split, divorcing the lofty concept of interstellar exploration from the potential reality of elite escapism. True evolution is not a geographical migration, but a leap in consciousness and morality. The first step is to embrace your Earthness. This is not weakness, but a source of strength. Jung would tell you that integrating the shadow, not projecting it, is true growth. This means not running from Earth's problems, but turning to face them, here, now. To direct the astounding intelligence, resources, and determination needed to build a Mars base toward healing our only home. This is not a retreat, but a more challenging, more courageous form of evolution. It requires a Nietzschean revaluation, to see staying and repairing as a higher, more overhuman act than leaving and resetting. Look at those who truly figured it out. They are not the ones building arks, but the sages who tried to teach everyone to swim before the flood. Like Gandhi, who challenged an empire not by fleeing, but through non-violent resistance rooted in the present. Like Thoreau, who pondered the essence of life at Walden Pond, not to escape society, but to return to and critique it more deeply. Their battlefield was under their feet. Their revolution was within. This rebellion begins with a simple yet radical decision: to refuse to fantasize about the future as a distant promised land, and instead to create it as a reality in the present. To reclaim agency does not mean rejecting the stars, but rejecting touching them at the cost of abandoning our own kind. The true Martian pioneer might be the one who chooses to stay on Earth and makes it worth saving. So, what is the final truth? Mars was never about Mars. It is a mirror, reflecting everything deep within the human soul, our brilliance and our pettiness, our courage and our fear, our infinite potential and the limitations we refuse to acknowledge. This grand interstellar debate is, in essence, a metaphysical civil war over who we are and who we want to be. We aspire to become gods on Mars, but perhaps true divinity lies not in creating a new world without suffering, but in having the courage to embrace this imperfect one and repair it with boundless compassion. Evolution, if it means anything, is never about abandoning our origins. It is about understanding them, accepting them, and ultimately transcending their inherent flaws, not geographically fleeing from them. The ultimate paradox of the Mars project is this: it is both the pinnacle of our technological rationality and the ultimate expression of our spiritual escapism. We can calculate planetary orbital transfers, yet we cannot calculate a path to equity and coexistence. We can build domes to shield against radiation, yet we cannot erect social structures free from exploitation. We dream of sowing civilization on another planet, yet we might only harvest the oldest vices we never resolved on Earth. Here, then, is the worldview-shattering epiphany. Humanity's next frontier is not in the vastness of space, but in the inner cosmos of every human heart. True courage is not booking a one-way ticket to the red planet, but staying to face the gray world we've collectively created and giving it color. True exploration is not seeking a new home outward, but constructing a new self inward, a self that no longer needs an escape to prove its superiority. In the end, our fate will not be decided by whether we can reach another planet, but by whether we can finally learn, on this one, how to be human. Mars is just an option. Earth is our eternal test.